Good evening, friend. We're beginning to run out of tales about me, but still, you seek them out. I cannot help but be touched. What tale do you think they have for you tonight?
Moriden Athluan.
Skyrim was not the only land to benefit from the mighty hands of the Dragonborn. Even the distant island of Solstheim, part of the ancient home of the Dunmeri people, was to feel the effects of his passing.
On the roads of Skyrim, Moriden had long been chased and hunted by a cult. This cult served a master whose name had long been lost to legend, the name of Mirak, the first Dragonborn.
Ah, this one. I should have realized.
Seeking only to stop the pursuit of his life, Moriden would travel to Solstheim to seek out this Mirak and silence him forever.
They have that part right, at least.
What he sought was not what he found. Instead, he found an island under siege, a people who moved as in a dream, and a Daedric lord who pulled the strings as a puppet.
Come now, and hear the tale of Moriden Athluan's time among the Skal, and of the fall of Mirak.
One of the shorter tales about me, but an important one. I learned things on that journey. Things that nobody should ever learn about themselves. Most of what they will tell you, well, better than most of their tales. The truth, though, the truth is not what the bards would have you believe. "26 First Seed, 4th Era, 202. I cannot wait any longer on the dig site or Neloth. Though I know there is still one more black book, I cannot wait to deal with Mirak. Something within me tells me that this is the moment I must go after him, lest he break free of Apocrypha. I waited through the dawn hours, but when no word came, I made my decision. This time when I go to Apocrypha, I will do so prepared. I am coming for Mirak, and putting this private war of ours to an end. Lord Mora might think he wins no matter what, but I suspect that he will be far worse off with me than with Mirak. I don't know why I believe this. Something to do with this woman I keep seeing and hearing, perhaps, but for whatever reason, I believe it strongly. I pulled out the first book and was dragged once again into Apocrypha. The tower that I had seen in the distance in my first visit was now the one I climbed steadily upwards within. Seekers hunted me without success, and the path I had to walk was long and convoluted. Every time I turned, I half expected that I would hear her voice, hear another mysterious proclamation, but I neither saw nor heard her voice. There was a feeling of watching, though. Mora would be my guess, as two of his champions closed on each other to decide which of us was the more worthy. I already knew the answer, of course. I suspect that Mirek thought he knew as well. I'd wondered about the body I found cut in half in Mirak's temple. Today, without resorting to Lord Mora's library or knowledge, I discovered for myself what had happened to the other half. I'm guessing this poor soul tried to cross between the realms and was unfortunate enough to have that portal close on him when he tripped and fell into it. I'm certain this shovel and whatever he had done to it will remain useful in the future, but time to examine it later. For the moment, I had a Dragonborn to find and kill. I finally reached what I thought was the top of the tower, and found no Mirak. Only a pair of Seekers near a strange wall. The Seekers were eliminated in short order, and as I approached the wall I realized what it was. A word wall, though not in any form I've ever seen. It gave me the final word of dragon aspect, a shout that will empower me even more. Assuming I ever found Mirak to challenge, of course. That was when a dragon dropped from the skies, one of Mirak's that I had seen previously. After dodging around for a few moments, I realized I had an opportunity. I had been sent on errands to learn the bend will shout. Perhaps this is what Mirak had been using to tame his dragons, to make them do his bidding. If this was the case, then, if my Thuum was the superior, I should be able to break his hold in favor of my own. It was worth an attempt, certainly better than trying to fight a massive dragon on a small set of ledges. I let forth my shout with all of my knowledge, all of my will, and watched as the dragon landed, acknowledged my superior Thuum, and then invited me to take a ride to Mirak. Well, he's no Odaving, but I had survived that trauma-inducing nightmare ride. I stepped up to the dragon's neck, and we flew through the green skies of Hermaeus Mora's domain. In the next 5 minutes, I learned how to be absolutely terrified in ways that I had never reached before. Sitting astride Sarotar, we launched into the air, and I learned how to fight my own fear of heights, while fighting creatures on the ground with my magic, while telling Sarotar to fight those same creatures. That is a lot of fighting, and I did everything I could to ensure I won all 3 of those matches. A lurker and 2 seekers were the first targets, and when that failed to kill me, somehow, we flew to the top of another tower, where Mirak was waiting. The first Dragonborn, he calls himself, ready to face the last Dragonborn. Like any master criminal, he just had to start monologuing, and his plan at least had the virtue of simplicity. Kill me, take my soul, return to Solstheim, rule the world. I think there might be a step or two missing in that plan, but it won't matter since my plan was shorter and had no holes in it. Kill Mirak. Live. As simple as the plan was on paper, it proved far more difficult in practice. Mirak's mastery of the Thuum showed in how quickly he was able to shout, faster than I could by far. I made up for us with shouts that hit harder, if less frequently. He zoomed about the battlefield with whirlwind sprint. My arrows were waiting for him when he stopped moving, as I had no need to move to continue my assault. With Sarotar keeping the other 2 dragons off of me, it was as close to an even match as I've had in quite some time. I did, however, quickly realize something that Mirak did not. He'd claimed that he could have defeated Alduin had he chosen to. As someone who fought him twice and survived both times, I can safely say that he was lying to himself. That was when the backstabbing began. Hurt badly, he called down one of the 2 dragons he had in the fight with him, Kruzikral. Calling him by name, he shouted something else, and I watched the skin fly off of the dove and its life energy replenish Miraak. This, then, was his ultimate power, to steal their life away before death had taken its grip. We returned to battle. The other dragon, Relon Kiev, met the same fate minutes later as my arrow fire continued to whittle away at his near-immortal strength. Now, with no airborne targets of his own, Sarotar began assaulting Miraak directly, freezing him in place with its breath and shattering his body with ice attacks that put my best magic to shame. Not that I cared. I still had arrows, which I placed one after the other into Miraak's torso. And then Miraak took Sarotar's life essence as well, sucking it up the same way a drunk nurses his mead, which is to say, making it vanish quickly with no remorse. It was down to the pair of us, and in a way, I'd already won 3 times. I needed only to do it once more on my own. More of the same followed. His shouts, though quick, were weak in power. They were also taking a toll on him. I imagine he hasn't had a challenge like me before in his life. He relied on speed and agility to defeat his foes before, and me being able to not only keep up, mostly, but to take anything he could shovel at me, left me still holding strong, and him getting weaker by the moment. Finally, realizing he was beaten, he did what they all try to do at the last minute. Escape. He vanished from my sight. Lord Mora, however, had other ideas, and speared him on one of the tentacles and hefted him into the air, taunting him as his former toy and servant was ripped apart. Miraak's last request was that I find the same fate in my service to Mora as he had in his. Request denied. I don't serve Mora, no matter what he thinks. Though I was not the one to deal the death blow, I still feel the need to think on Miraak's life and his mistakes. Miraak, first Dragonborn, Dovahkiin, and Master of the Thu'um. Stories say that you served the Dove at the height of their power and betrayed them. You served Lord Hermaeus Mora and betrayed him. You fought me and betrayed your companions, and yet you dare to warn me that it is Lord Mora who will betray? Look first to your own actions, betrayer. You, who believed that your own power, your own will would allow you to do as you wished, when you wished, to whomever you wished, were not betrayed. You simply could not believe that anyone could ever call your debts due and make you pay for your actions. It was not Lord Mora who killed you, though he gave you the death stroke. It was not I who killed you, though I brought you to a standstill. You are the one who killed yourself, Miraak, through your infinite and unending pride. Miraak, apostate dragon priest, oathbreaker, first dragonborn, betrayer of Daedric lords, is dead. and I returned to the evening hours of Solstheim, where I enacted the previously unwritten Part 3 of my plan. I slept. 27 First Seed, 4th Era, 202. My time on Solstheim was not quite done yet, however. There still remained one dragon priest, Azadal, and the dig site was going to lead me to him eventually. When I woke the next morning, it was to the courier slamming his fist against the door of Saravan Manor. His letter was from Rallis, requesting I meet him as quickly as possible. Because, as I found out when I got there, all of the miners were either dead or had run off when, surprise, the Draugr had come to life again. I sighed, drew my bow, and went back into the barrow to locate those who were still missing. Another piece of Azadal's armor and 2 dead miners later, I had once again cleared the barrow. I wasn't shocked when, as I got back to Rallis, he requested yet more money, this time 8,000, to dupe another group of miners into continuing the dig. Which means I'm stuck here for another day or two while he hires and then drives them into the barrow to dig. I also get the strong impression that this is somehow personal for Rallis. Though whether this is because of the obstacles he's had to overcome this far or because of something else, I don't know. What I do know is that I have a little time on my hands. I trekked back to tell Mithrin to check in on Neloth on the off chance that he has figured out where the last of the black books are. On arrival, Neloth put me through a quick examination, seeking some of the documented signs of people who are under the permanent influence of Hermaeus Mora. Apart from being bizarre, it also told him what I already knew. There wasn't any. He made some assumptions about how things were with Miraak. That he was dead was a given, it seems, and pretty much ignored the events I had just been a part of as though they were beneath his notice. Miraak was prideful, no question, but Neloth might actually be worse. What is worse is that he's found no indication of an additional black book, which is upsetting. I'd been really hoping for one more trip into Apocrypha, somewhere that Mora might not be paying attention. I feel that it would have been enlightening, but it seems it will not be. Once I have dealt with the barrow and the potential Azadal situation, I suppose my time on Solstheim will be done. It was a long walk back to Raven Rock. I could have stayed and tell Mithrin, but I'm not sure with Neloth's ego that there was any room for me anyhow. I took the evening to more fully explore my new manor here in Raven Rock, and really I'm not sure how much use of it I will make once I leave. Maybe I should rent it out to someone else, get some more money out of it. Of course, without a steward to manage the place, that wouldn't go well, and it's not like I need more money at this point. Now, there's a thing I never would have believed I'd have said a year ago. I've gone from beggar on the streets to the one giving alms, and then some in that time. Never would have believed it back then. It's not every day you have your entire life change as dramatically as my... Fate. Fate has changed, she said. I'd assumed from the beginning she was talking about mine, but could it have really been so recent? And if so, why? What is the purpose of... No. Not tonight. I've earned some rest, and I intend to enjoy it. 28 First Seed, 4th Era, 202. Today I genuinely celebrate something I've never before had reason to celebrate. Today I celebrate 36 years of life on Nirn. For 35 of them I didn't celebrate this day. I cursed it. What reason did I have to celebrate? I was, for all of them, considered a curse to the people of Windhelm. There was nobody to celebrate with, no family, no friends. You can't call the other beggars that you are competing for prime begging spots with friends. Only today I can genuinely celebrate. It would be better if I had people to celebrate with, I suppose, but when have I ever really needed anyone else? I am alive and well. My fortunes changed dramatically, and my future all but assured. Still, I went to the corner club and splurged, buying a round or two for the house in celebration. The others might assume I was toasting the victory over Mirac, and fair enough. But no. Today, I raise a toast to myself, and the good fortune that has come to me regardless of where it came from. 29 First Seed, 4th Era, 202. A note from Neloth arrived this morning indicating progress on his search for the final Black Book. I should have guessed it, of course, based on the last one I found, but he is determined that it is most likely located in Kolbjorn Barrow, the very same place I have been financing as a dig site. It seems I now have 2 good reasons to see this project through to completion. I walked out to the site to speak with Rallis and check on the progress. The camp there is getting to be large now, what with the tents for all the miners and, as it turns out, mercenaries that he's hired to try to keep them safe. My conversation with Rallis was a short one, stressing the importance of getting some real results as soon as possible. This piecemeal operation is giving me more downtime than I know what to do with. I've never been this idle in my life, I think. Oh, you try begging for a year or 2 and tell me that I was idle back then. I dare you. 30 First Seed, 4th Era, 202. The call came once again from Rallis, and between the courier's comment that Rallis is a bit scary and my own observations, I think that there is something more going on. I believe I once planned to kill this man, once the barrow was excavated. I would have done that then, because he was merely going to be my tool. But now, well, I think he might be under the influence of something. Maybe Azadal. I've never been near a dragon priest as long as Rallis has been, at least near this one. But that's mostly because I killed them long before they could attempt something like this. I can't say that it's certain, but I'll be watching him closely. I'll also be making the Draugr dead, because of course it's happened a 3rd time now. Most of the miners are still alive this time, and some of the mercenaries even. I'm betting he still wants more money when I get back, though. The situation in the barrow was much as I had expected. The Draugr were easily dealt with, despite the large number of bodies I found strewn about the place, testament to the mercenaries who, if they did have skill, at least appeared to have zeal, for all the good it did them. I also became aware of yet a 3rd reason to see this place excavated in the form of a word wall. It had been buried in the ash, and even now was only about half uncovered, meaning I couldn't read the word on it just yet. Exploration, though, did reveal another ring that I'm sure belongs to Azadal. Indeed, I am certain that all the unique pieces I've seen are his, and most of them are already in solitude by now, I'd wager. With the area cleared, it was back topside to speak with Rallis once again. This time, 5,000 septims he wants. 5,000. That would be over 10,000 spent on this pet project of his, and did I not have my own reasons for this? He got his money, and I have to sit around and wait a few more days. This idleness is going to really irritate me, I think. 31 First Seed, 4th Era, 202. Today I turned to alchemy in an attempt to while away the time. I discovered little of interest, apart from additional frustration. Rallis and his excavation team are worse than my own team of excavators back in Skyrim. Had they been available, instead of waiting for me to return, I would use them in a heartbeat. Then again, maybe they would have died like the miners here. Well, some of them. After what I've learned about Orion, he'd likely survive. Possibly. 1 Rain's Hand, 4th Era, 202. News came in late yesterday that the Raven Rock mine was reopening for business. They had found new veins of ebony. I was also personally informed that anything I cared to take out of that mine I was welcome to. I had cleared it out, after all, and made it a viable source of wealth for the town again. Ebony was just part of the bounty too. I saw iron deposits and a few geode deposits as well. Raven Rock is going to be reborn with the wealth that mine is going to bring in, and many of the locals have already stopped me on the street to thank me for it. I took some hours to mine a few ebony-rich rocks and then smelted them down. When I get back to Solitude, I still have some ebony-based armors and weapons to complete, so any amount of it I can get is worth the time. I'd rather be dealing with the Barrow, but since there's still been no word, I'm stuck here still. 2 Rain's Hand, 4th Era, 202. Assisted with the killing of a dragon this morning. Not a dragon type I'd seen before, but it died as quickly as any other, especially with the Raven Rock Guard getting involved. I wish I knew what shout I had seen Mirak use to kill a dragon instantly. That would have been handy. Still no news from Kolbjorn Barrow, and I begin to worry. I trekked out to look at it from a distance, but while there is still activity, I see no indications that the dig is any closer to completion. But then I suppose I wouldn't, from a distance, would I, when the work is going on inside the Barrow now? I'm getting impatient, I know. But I must get in. I must find that black book. I must.